Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors in Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Friday morning, wrapping up a stormy week here in the outdoors, but we're going to keep on going and hopefully it's going to break off soon. Let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Drew Potter's company, Gulf Coast Air Conditioning and Heating, and they do a great job up there. I get all kinds of testimonials and I appreciate them being part of the Panhandle Outdoors team. High today, 68, low 51. Water temperature at the end of the pier, a steady 71 degrees, and it's going to be a little windy, but it's their catch. I got some good fishing reports from the pier and all around to talk about later on in the show. Let's take a look at our river reading brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do with Mountain Dew. The Apalachicola Bluntstown, wow. How about a 17.2 and it's rising? And take a look at the Choctaw at Caryville, 11 going on up to 12. Both of them are way up there in that color chart, and when it gets in that color chart now, you know it's high water. So both rivers are going to be like that for the whole weekend, so be aware of that. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn today, Friday, April the 8th. Great tides today, great tides for the weekend. Now the low tide will be this morning at 2:08, and it's coming in strong until this afternoon at about 2:52. It's going to start dropping off a little bit. The biggest factor today, guess what, the wind's coming in. I double checked it, coming out of the west at 25. And it's going to really wrap up a stormy week, and it looks a little stormy tomorrow, but the sun's going to be out. Next week, they're saying we're going to get up into the 80s. So I'm thinking next week's going to be sort of breakout of the spring weather, and nature's going to realize it's not March anymore and start calming down a little bit. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I love getting these pictures from you folks, and it gives us a sort of a report on what's going on. And I get all different levels, some outstanding fishermen catching them, and some rookies catching them, and it's still the same thing. Everybody's enjoying the joy of fishing, and it's good. So I now got to the point where I can't call out. Some folks ask me not to call out their name because people, I've known this guy a very long time, a friend of mine. He said people are now following him when he goes fishing. He knows they're following him, but I will show you his catch, okay? Here's the catch on April the 1st right here. You see why people are following him. And he called, that was April the 1st, and let me see. Here's another catch down here, the county championship. So anyway, fine catch. Young man, well, I use that term loosely, young man. So anyway, I will get some other pictures and everything, but I got a kick out of that. He said, Coach, I'm going to send you these pictures, but you show them, but don't tell them they came from me. Now, I can't call out this young man's name here. Chip Watts up there in Jackson County, up there in Grand Ridge. Chip's a fine fisherman. He found an old photo, 1969, taken at my great uncle Glenn Durden's store in Lacoochee, Florida. Nice catch. And these were caught noodling, okay? Look at old Coca-Cola truck. Look at those old catfish. And they were noodling way back then. Look at the old gas can, and look at the old tackle box up there and old net. I love old pictures like that. They just speak volumes. And thank you, Chip Watts, for sharing that with the folks. Okay, let me see what all I've got. Okay, hey, Winston, it's been beat on her. Winston, this is interesting. After several unsuccessful trips from Compass Lake to St. Andrews State Park, success. Your Friday fishing report was spot on. This was last week. We could have stayed and gotten our limit, but the boat traffic was so bad the risk wasn't worth the reward. It wasn't just rental pontoon boats. It was hundreds of huge charter vessels and privately owned boats, all taking advantage of the bountiful Spanish mackerel run. Have a great day and do something good for your fellow man. Thank you. And check this out, folks. He had a good morning, didn't he? All the way down from Compass Lake, and now that's a fine boat right there. That boat go from A to B, point A to point B, pretty fast. And got them cleaned up here. Look how good that meat looks. You got to cut out the bloodline and everything. That's some good eating. Okay, good job. And that's a testimonial though of the boat traffic. firsthand. Let's jump into youth turkey. Leslie Harlow Kelly. I've known her since she was a little girl, and now she's a grown lady and loving doing stuff with different folks with her family and all. Hey, Coach, during the youth turkey hunt in Alachua County, my dad, W.C. Harlow, did the calling, and Miss Trinity, a family friend, did the shooting. That princess shoots a 410. Thanks, have a great day, Leslie Harlow Kelly. Check out these three pictures. Okay, that's a princess with WC, but look at that healthy, big old healthy turkey coming out of the Alachua County area. Here she is right here. That's a great picture. That'll be a framer, and that will be, look at that little 410 shotgun. That's a good gun right there. And here, this is my favorite picture, her just throwing it over her shoulder and hauling it back to the buggy. I hope she gets to do that many more times. And thanks to W.C. Harlow for taking that young lady hunting. And W.C. is a premier turkey hunter. Eva Mullins, the better half of the Mullins family, Matt Mullins' wife, mom with the first Spanish mackerel of the day. Good job, Eva. I know every year they go Spanish mackerel fishing. I get pictures from them. You look at the background, and you can see they're actually out into the went out into the Gulf a little bit and caught the Spanish. Okay, good job, Eva Mullins. And right here, Dan Wells, our preacher friend up there in the southern part of Ohio. We spent some meaningful time together in the woods this week. Can't think of a better way to end it with a wild hog hunt in the swamp. Jackie took the perfect shot, and the boys erupted in celebration for their mama, and they barbecued at the weights. That's a good shot, Mama. They're outdoor family up there in the southern part of Ohio. Bobby Johnson, this is good. Thank you, Bobby. When you see small businesses raising their prices today and over the coming months, it's not to make more money. It's to stay open and to keep their employees working and to continue to serve their customers. Please continue to shop local and support small businesses during these very difficult times. That is so true. We're in some tough times here with prices and all, and just hanging there. It's going to get better. Okay, listen, Ken Smith over here. This is Lynn Haven Park. Y'all be careful at Porter Park. There's an alligator swimming around a boat ramp. Look at there. Okay, you see where you're looking toward the bridge. You're at the boat ramp, and you're looking toward the bridge right there with the bathroom and all. Here's another picture of him. So you don't want to get in the water and push your boat in. Now really there, he's not going, I say he's not going to bother you. I always hear stuff like that. One more, we got a good story here. Mike McGraw went down to the beach just before 9 a.m. in Panama City Beach, had the boys visiting. The bite was SLOW. He used shrimp and fish bites and a 4-rod set, nothing. Finally, in a less shell-infested area, got some live sand fleas, reset the rods, and that noon pompano hit. So he did, Mike and his wife and kids, and there it is. He finally got one. But he was very persistent. And a lot of times, folks, you're not going out there an hour and catching them. You're going to have to stay there a couple of hours to catch those pompano. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning, wrapping up a stormy week, like I said. Hopefully it's going to settle down before we can enjoy the outdoor stuff. I was checking and talking to friends too. We're talking about a Tyndall pass, on how to get on Tyndall, and with the pass, you got to have a pass now to get out there. Well, the only day that you can go out there and get the pass, he was telling me, is on a Tuesday. And you got to go in on the right if you're going out to a Tyndall, go check in the guard station, and they'll send you to the other station. And then on that Tuesday, you fill out the form, they'll do a background check and all that. And even to launch there at Davis Beach, you should have a Tyndall pass. Anywhere on Tyndall, you should have a Tyndall pass, and I can understand that, and I don't have a problem with it. But you got to do it every year. I've done it before. I didn't get to do it last year, so I want to fish some out of Davis Beach again. We were in Crooked Island Sound. That's one of my little summer goals and spring goals, really. But go ahead and do that too. And speaking of catching redfish and all kinds of different things, I would mention the other day about those 10,000 redfish, little fingerlings that were bringing up to Choctawhatchee Bay, and had to make a detour. And I told you I was going to check out that Maricultural situation there. It's down the Crystal River. It's at a Duke Energy company, and it goes back, I was checking on the history of it, it goes back to a compliance issue. The power companies, at that time they were pretty, they were in a polluting stage, but a lot of them have made a lot of improvement over the years. And one of the things they had to do was do a federal compliance and do something for the environment. And it come up with a brilliant idea. Well, why don't we just start raising fish? And I thought to myself, that's good. This has been 25, 30 years ago they actually started this. They actually started in the 90s. And I'd heard about it when they started it, and I passed by there some on traveling. I always said I want to stop by. But anyway, I got a little bit of information on it. I checked it out last night online, and there's a Crystal River Maricultural Center. They just celebrated their 30th year. This was in January, and this guy's been with them. They've released nearly 5 million fish. Okay, isn't that something? Let's see, I've got a couple other pictures, and here's some pictures of the fingerling two of the redfish on the East Coast, okay, and part of their restocking plan. And here's a guy right here, 30 years and millions of fish. And it's really interesting. Let's see, that's the same pictures there. Okay, here, his name is Eric Latimer, and he released thousands of redfish, and he's been there 30 years. Many have tagged. They actually started, I wrote down some information here. They started first 100,000, and they tagged the first, let's see, in 1993 they tagged 100, and they got like 34 people responded, and they realized then it was going to be a successful thing. So that's how the Maricultural Center started. And here's something interesting I found out. The DNA of a West Coast redfish on our side as compared to the East Coast over on the other side of Florida, the East Coast redfish, those DNA are completely separate. So they cannot release, they cannot release some of their fish on the West Coast, or it's got to be the DNA. They've got to have an East Coast redfish and a West Coast redfish. I thought that was really interesting, and I can't really find out what happened to those 10,000 on a transit trip up here to Choctawhatchee Bay, and why they had, and I can't find out exactly where they released them. I've heard it was St. Joe Bay, but officially. So if y'all know anything officially, let me know and I share it with us. It's just I'm thinking the machine broke down or something. Anyway, so. I just wanted to mention that to you also. Wanted to, with these storms, I know you've seen it, and I noticed another day after the storm came through, I always get a kick out of just observing nature and was looking at, we had the bird feeders and all that, and bluebird, and we got 5 little bluebirds. Gail got them named after our 5 grandkids, so they all got their mouth open just like the grandkids, so we get a kick out of that. But anyway, when nature comes through with these storms and all, and everything sort of hunkered down, and when it sort of clears up, boom, the birds start coming in. The same way in the woods, the deer get out and sort of move around a little bit, and the same way on the water. A lot of times after a storm, right before that storm and after that storm, there's just been some great memorable fishing goes on. But you make sure that you get off the water during the lightning. The lightning storm came in Saturday, last Saturday during that tournament. There was a redfish tournament going on and that bass tournament. And that storm came in. It didn't bother the east side of town, East Bay and all, but North Bay and West Bay, and it really came in, and there was some really strong lightning. But I'm constantly talking about keeping eyes on nature and reading the signs of nature. It's been something I've enjoyed my whole life and all. So anyway, let's get ready to do our drawing. I got to ask some names. Got some people. Jay Atkins from Panama City Beach got in contact with me. Eddie White up there in Bonifay. Eddie watches the show every morning. We got that one here and this one here. Now we're going to do our drawing, and we did that random drawing this past Monday or Tuesday, and they picked it up. They enjoyed it. So here we go. Tarpon Dog Seafood, one of our team members on Panhandle Outdoors. This is a $20 gift certificate. Robert Blackman, but you're right there, Robert, and then winner of the Big Red Snapper. That's some of the nicest emails from folks enjoying this stuff. All the way from Greenhead, Rebecca Weeks. Okay, that's our 2 winners, and like I say, you can join anytime, and we'll be giving away all kind of cool stuff. So we're going to take our break. We're going to get set up for our famous Friday fishing forecast, and got some cool stuff to talk about. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, well, welcome back. Let's get ready. My sound good? Okay, here we go. Getting ready for our Amos Friday fishing forecast. I want to start on the east end. Last 2 Fridays I've started on the west end of a viewing area. So this weekend I want to start on the east end, and I always start down there around Carabel. That's a honey hole around Carabel. Love going down there and being around them, and there's so much going on down there. And the biggest thing, folks, the crowd is not there yet. So enjoy that while we can, because it's coming down there too. And I always talk about the Carabel River and all the things coming down in it. And I use the term feeder creeks. I've used it numerous times during the years, but Carabel River and all these feeder creeks coming out of Tate's Hell. That is one cool place. It's going to be wet down there now, but that's the Matra area. Wow, I wish I could write some stories about all those early settlers back there, and I wish I could have interviewed some of them. But anyway, it all comes down into this river here, Carabel, and I'm out here now. So you can catch. I can promise you, I didn't call them today, but I'll call them next week. Back on Dog Island side, the speckled trout's going to be good. Redfish going to be good right there. Let's talk about right here on St. George Island about going down to State Park and Pompano fishing. This is going to be a good weekend. We're about to break out now in the Pompano fishing. It's been really strong. And so what I'm talking about, I just want to show you an area. Now, let me get back to my report itself that I wrote down. I wrote, wind and rain, go away, come back another day. Like I say, we were going to fish this past Wednesday with Jerry Forehand and planned it for a week and a half or 2 weeks, and sure enough, it sort of blew us away. Surf fishing, it was slow because of the wind, but it's going to be strong once it comes back. Actually, they caught some big pompano on our far western end over on Choctawhatchee, outside the Choctawhatchee area. Good strong there. They're catching them on fish bites and the Spanish. Here's the pier report: Spanish, pompano, redfish. Those three things that were caught when they could fish out of the wind. Spanish, pompano, and redfish. The bay, the inshore. I would encourage you when you can to use live bait. If you really want to catch some fish, have some people with you want to really catch some fish and get some action for some kids and all. Try to use some live bait. If you use live shrimp, it's worth it. And, keep them going. But I'm a artificial kind of guy. But every now and then we try to go live bait and to get some action. So I want to encourage you to use your live bait and all. Trolling again. I say it again. Trolling here in the bay system. Let's go St. Andrew Bay. You heard what the crowd was right here in St. Andrew Bay. Trolling that circle, I've mentioned about 3 weeks straight now. But once you find them, sort of slow down and cast your gotcha plugs into them. That's what a lot of folks are doing. And just, if you can go other on a Saturday, be the worst day to go. So that's when most people be out there because people are working Monday through Friday. But try to go during the week if you can, or Friday or Monday that you have off. On freshwater, here's what I wrote on freshwater. It's been tough. Now the tournament at Deer Point last week, you saw the video yesterday, and they brought in some fish, and 9.2 pounder coming out of Deer Point Lake is awesome. So freshwater is going to be good, but it's after this weekend it won't be good. But after the water starts going down, hopefully sometime middle of next week it'll start dropping off a little bit. It'll start picking up. It's going to be challenging now to fish fresh water unless you're in some ponds and all. Also, I wrote down cobia. They actually have been a couple of cobia caught off the county pier, one or two been caught off the boats. That's sight fishing and seeing them and casting into them. Now to our western end, off the Navarre Pier, they've caught several. They caught quite a few really for this time of year. As always, they catch them first at the Navarre Pier and they come this way. That's the opposite of what we talked about on the migration. So it's been good. I'd also would recommend fishing in the bay, top water. After these rains and all, I like to fish top water after the rain just to get some action. We may strike out sometimes, but it's really good. But the Paul Brown, Mayor Greg Brudnicki, that's his favorite bait, the Paul Brown bait. I'd recommend it. I would also say a couple other things wrote down. Check out the piers. It's easy to get out there, and it's a simple kind of fishing, and you see what everybody's doing and all. And spend some time. West Bay's going to be, here's West Bay here. It's going to be a little muddy from all the runoff and everything. You got the intercoastal running off into it. You got Burnt Mill Creek and Crooked Creek running into it. But down right here in the middle of the screen right in here, there should be some redfish hanging in this area right through here. I promise you that some of our tournament fishermen, if we had a tournament this weekend, they'd be fishing right in this area here. Okay? And getting over toward Choctawhatchee Bay, we're going to have a big runoff now from the Choctawhatchee River. You'll see how high it is. So anyway, all through this area here, the Spanish are still in that area. Okay, working our way all the way to the western end down here. I would definitely recommend going here and doing some surf fishing, especially down here at Camp Helen. Okay, Camp Helen right in here. If you can get right down there and fish. Okay, we talked about fishing, surf fishing Camp Helen. I'm gonna run out of time, but surf fishing, this is top time of the year for April and May to do the surf fishing for Pompano. And I say Camp Helen is a great place to go. If you get a chance to go down to that area. Also St. Andrews State Park, like I say, the State Park pier has been damaged, and so as far as I know, it's still closed. If anyone finds out when it opens back up, let us know, and we'll share it with our viewers. But you still can fish off the jetties, have some good action there. I'm going to start wrapping things up. It's been a good week here. We had some good guests, and next week we've got some really good guests coming on. Already got them lined up to talk about some good stuff. So you enjoy our great outdoors, and you know when I say do something good for fellow man, a lot of y'all are doing it. It just makes the world a little better place and helps folks out. So you have a great weekend, do something good, enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.